Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Hi, Joan. How are you? We got some red pills popping all across the country with this balloon popping, and I want some people to get in. We'll be talking about it. Here, I'll put this on the screen. Popping pills. Ha ha ha. So if this little balloon situation doesn't wake some people up, if that isn't giving them a red pill to swallow, I don't know what is. I hope everybody's doing good. And I wanted to ask when the chats get going good, somebody told me that the episode we saw in Billings, Montana was a hoax. Did you all hear that too? I was just curious. Hi, Bubba. How you doing? Lucy, how are you? Somebody told me, hi, Nikki. Somebody told me the Billings, Montana video of a balloon getting popped yesterday was not real. And they said they heard it on Fox News. And I had to laugh. I said, Fox News, you know, you don't know what side of the fence they're dealing with any day they go up. White hat, gray hat, black hat. Hi, Ann. Hi, Quilt. Frank, how you doing? So I was just wondering if anybody had heard that also about the Billings, Montana video being false. I haven't heard it, and I checked quite a bit of different Twitter feeds, truth social feeds, and I haven't seen that. I don't sit around and watch Fox all day. Now, I did watch them today when they finally did the operation over the Atlantic within the 12-mile radius. Now, we actually got 200 miles, but 12-mile, you get in international waters, but I think it's within 200 miles, other countries can't do military exercises. I have to check on that. But anyway, hi, Sharon. How you doing? Hi, Brighter Day. Hi, Kate. So I was just wondering if you all heard that about the Billings, Montana because then they're saying nobody said anything about a second balloon. All day I'm listening to that Fox News and I'm watching the balloon over and over and over again, just like I watched the one in Billings, Montana over and over and over again. Didn't hear anything about a second one. And then I heard that there's a third one, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But then I also heard they've been going on for some time. Is this a look here and not there event? If it is, you know, there's less and less they can do to keep people from getting a red pill. Because even if they did do this to distract people from something else, Americans are very concerned. They are not happy with this situation, and they're not happy how it was handled. The average person was uncomfortable. I've heard people talk about they're thinking there were bioweapons inside the balloon itself. I know that's, you know, I'm not saying that. I'm saying people have talked about the possibilities. You know, so it's a fear factor that enters people's minds. So if they're trying to do a look here, not there, they're still giving people red pills. So Quilt says it's absolutely a distraction. Hi, Philo. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. And I was thinking about what you were saying about that, the headaches. Jack Posobiec had on his feed, he posted that thousands of people were reporting that were along the path of this thing, that their cell phones were acting funny. Interesting tidbit says he wasn't sure. There was a guy saying he wasn't sure if the Atlantic one was the same one. So I don't know. Now, I was thinking, a balloon's airspeed. I remember the Hindenburg. I remember foggy recollection, and I verified, double checked it. I thought it was around what a private plane or average, 4-seat plane had a stall speed, except a Piper come with wings on the roof, but normal stall speeds around 80, something like that, miles an hour. And I had remembered that when I was looking at the Hindenburg story many years ago, and I remembered the airspeed of the Hindenburg. So I looked it up and checked. It was 80, I think it's 86 miles an hour. But anyway, the Hindenburg had 4 engines on it, diesel engines, and I'm sure they were Mercedes, 1,100 horsepower apiece. That's a lot of horsepower. It's easy math on 4,400 horsepower, and it could get up to 86 miles top speed. I think it was. I'll have to double check that. It's close. It's close. But then somebody reminded me that at that altitude, they're in some very thin airspace, and there's not a lot of friction, and the speeds increase by that way. And also take it into account the prevailing winds, what's called prevailing winds. And most of you probably know it. Some of you don't. So I'll just say what prevailing winds are. The prevailing winds go from the west coast to the east coast constantly. You see a satellite image of the earth and you see clouds and stuff all going around the world. And that's called the prevailing winds. And of course, the jet stream changes that, and different factors in the atmosphere changes the location and the speed and all that stuff. But anyway, so they're way up there. They're going with the prevailing winds. They're in thin atmosphere. And so I did tune in to Monkey Works, and he was saying that the weather balloons that they have now boast a top speed of 106 miles an hour. So that would concur, but did you know you can buy one of those things yourself? You can go online and buy one. There's a company that sells them. And they say it's for surveillance. They say it's for a lot of different things. A platform is what they call it. A platform for gathering information. So anyway, so I hope you're doing better, Bobcat, with I was thinking, gee, what a lot of people, you felt like your head was going to pop from a couple I remember. And that's the thing that people, I would listen to stories on the internet. I would listen to a lady being interviewed on Fox News, and they were bringing up the possibilities. What if they were, dribbling something over top of us, or it had some kind of dangerous payload. So let's see what Bubba said he heard Michigan diamond dust was falling in glitter. I don't know. That's the first I've heard of that. Could be. Who owns helium? N to the A. NASA. Yes, Debbie, that's what I was talking about last night. But I said hydrogen. This is from my dusty memory. Just before World War II, in 1936 or 37, was the Hindenburg disaster. And there was some type of moratorium by what we now know as the NATO states, mostly alliance states, that would not sell helium to Germany for some reason. I believe it's because the Zeppelin was used a lot in World War I. They called them Zeppelins, as most of you know. And I I don't know if that was part of a post-war agreement that they would not be able to get a lot of helium, and they had to use hydrogen. And that's what the Hindenburg was full of, hydrogen versus helium, because they couldn't get any helium. And of course, hydrogen is much more flammable, and it contributed to the destruction of the Hindenburg. Just having a sip of my coffee. But anyway, I had it inverted, but it's been a long time since I reviewed stories like that. And so, yeah, that's what I heard, that NA, and then the rest is SA, right, is trying to corner the market on helium. And they may very well have a lock on it for everything that's pulled out here in the U.S., but I don't think they have a worldwide lock on it. Colleen, how you doing? She said, oh, you're down there in Myrtle Beach. I'll be darned. She said she had one over her house just down the street over the ocean. Yeah. Did you get any video of it? Yeah, balloons are different than airships, but it's the same basic principle. Airships have a heavy framework, compared to a balloon. They have aluminum framework. And but it did, you could still see the disaster to this day on video. Oh, the humanity is what the man was yelling. Let's see. How you doing, Alicia? So if I miss anybody in the chats, my apologies. I'm just trying to keep up a little bit, and then also talk about the matters at hand. So I saw something else. Jack Posobiec, I believe it was, said he wanted to see, or he reposted something where somebody said, I want to be able to see the recovery operation when they go out there in the ocean and get this debris. I want to see if they're wearing hazmat dive gear. That would be interesting too, So it's in 47 feet of water is what they're reporting. But then you crank the story backwards to what happened over Billings, to even if this whole situation was an accurate representation. Because yesterday the Pentagon said that they didn't want to give the location because it was classified, and they wiped it off with all these radar apps that you see. Like I said, if they don't want you to see something, you're not going to see it. There are some backyard apps that use radar, and they kind of have a network that they make app with from home devices. If you've ever owned a vessel or a boat that's had radar, you've got probably a 20-mile sweep. You can see what's going on, but it's just, if they want to take it down off the regular apps, they'll do it. So anyway, so we're going from that, wondering if this is even the real one, to what happened in Billings. And what's this report? Let me see. I had several reports of different, another balloon coming. You scrolled up and found it. Let me see. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about one of the stories I was talking about. But let me see if I can pull up some of the comments and articles that I came across concerning this. And I don't want to lose my sound with you all, so I could have to check back, make sure I got sound. You couldn't zoom in on her. Oh, Colleen. Hi, Wanda. So 47 feet of water, I tell you, we used to nickname it t-shirt diving. You didn't need gear, you didn't need squat. We could do that down to 20 feet. Of course, when you're young, you do all kinds of dopey stuff. But anyway, that was called t-shirt diving. So 47 feet ain't squat. Jack Posobiec posted 4 hours ago, and that was about an hour ago when I pulled this. So 5 hours ago, U.S. officials believe there could be a third CHYNA spy balloon, which is now outside the U.S. So, okay. That's a story. He's saying third. So I was wondering, today I checked different reports from Sky News Australia, Fox News. Nobody talked about the second one. And when you think about, okay, Billings, Montana to North Carolina and eventually to the coast is a little over 2,000 miles. So it was roughly a 24-hour period. It was around Billings, Montana, around lunchtime, and over Myrtle Beach around lunchtime. So if you do the math of a Hindenburg speed, 86 miles an hour, or a top speed for a modern commercial weather balloon of 106, yes, it's very possible that it made it all that way, 2/3 of the distance across our country in 24 hours, just cruising along with the prevailing winds. So, okay, it's not, it's not out of line with possible actions there. They're telling people, Colleen says, they're telling people not to mess with any debris that washes ashore. Good luck with that. Yeah, oh yeah, people are going to want a piece of it, and they'll put it in a little glass case, and this is historical. Whoops. Oh, well, I got you on the screen, Finding Dory. Okay. All right. It's a distraction for every person looking up. We need 20 looking down and around. Loving blessings. Okay, Dory, you come back if you can. So, yeah, it's still, as I said, put in my thumbnail, those jets are firing red pills. And everybody that they were interviewing was talking about how loud the bang was, supersonic boom, and all, you heard people cheering and stuff on the beaches, and some people going, oh, it was so scary. Well, imagine being a citizen in Ukraine and hearing booms like that 30, 40 times a daggone day. So for Americans to experience military action, when have we ever seen a offensive military action right off our shores where people could stand on the beach and watch it? And I submit to you, never. Not since the Civil War. That was, okay, so I'll just say a conflict with a foreign power. When has that ever been seen? I don't recall. If anybody recalls something obscure in history besides the Revolutionary War. And let's see, they said interesting tidbit said nearly 2 balloons coming from Canada. Okay, I heard one. And I also heard about the one over Nicaragua. It might be somewhere else by now. And yes, Jamie agrees that it's a distraction, and that's what I put. Did I put that in the title? Look, no, I was going to put it in the title. Look here, not there. So what could the distraction be? Okay, we'll say, well, Billings, Montana video was fake. The one that they took care of today was real. And the travel time from Billings to North Carolina fits, okay, it fits the timeline. That's perfectly possible. And there was only one balloon. Well, that's not what we're hearing from a lot of people. We're hearing that I'm talking U.S. soil. Now, I discussed a report last night that said there were in 4 other countries there were Chinese spy balloons, and Monkey Works was saying there's probably 80 or 90 of them up from different countries, and our own balloons and our so-called weather balloons do a lot of data collection on us. We're always being spied on, but I'm saying foreign power spy balloons alleged over the U.S. Right now, we're hearing that there were two, and now a third coming over Canada. Some people may be hearing different. So anyway, what could they be trying to distract us from? And a lot of people are talking about a little visit that authorities from CHYNA and the Bears is RUSSIA, they have gone to the UN and specifically called out the U.S. for dealing with pharmaceutical research centers, okay? Also known as BIO, and then the rest is like a dog, you're like a lab. You remember lab? Well, I had a black lab. Name was Mutsy. But anyway, that was a long time ago. Anyway, so that has been going on during this drama. And nobody wants to report on it. Nobody has reported on it. But you've got two of the, it used to be that there were three major superpowers, three: US, Russia, and China. So you got two of the three pointing at us. BioClandestine did a comparison to if there were three people in a vehicle and two of them did not break wind and one of them did, he gave a pretty good example of how you can find out who did it. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I didn't copy that little story. I'm not going to read it anyway. So, Robert says, another episode of the Twilight Zone we're living in. Hi, Outlandish Patriot. John, how you doing? Biden files. That's right. They're telling us to stay away from them. Don't want us looking at the Biden files. And it got put out today or yesterday evening that Joe went to Rehoboth all by himself, and he knew there was an agreement for this so-called search of his home, and he was up there all by himself a week ago, and him and his staff, and then he comes back from vacation, and then they go do their search, right? Okay, yeah, that's really makes sense. Wanda, you're right. A lot of people were concerned about that. That's why one person said, like to see the recovery operation. Are they going to be wearing a special clothing for that? Dreamer says it's weird. I mean, all they need is another Pokemon to get what they need. That's in reference to that game, right? Which I never played it, but I get what you mean. Yeah, so I'm just cruising through the chats a little bit, but another report Jack Posobiec put out: DOD confirms the CHYNA skyship was spying on strategic areas and that it was being tracked while in Canada. Says its intelligent collection activities were monitored. And then I've got some text I can read out of there, the actual statement out of CHYNA. Okay, so apparently, what are they saying? They're saying that their collection activities were monitored by the DOD. Let me see. The balloon, which was being used by the PRC in an attempt to surveil strategic sites in the continental United States. Okay. Intelligence collection activities. We thank Canada for its contribution to tracking an analysis of the balloon through NORAD as it transited North America. So So they know it came into U.S. airspace, and then it went back into Canadian airspace. Let me see the timeline here. And then it came back into U.S. space. The Chinese, CHYNA's spy ship entered the U.S. identification zone on January 28th and entered Canadian airspace on January 30th, and then re-entered U.S. airspace on January 31st. So we've got a timeline there where it had already come into U.S. territory for 2 days. Then it went back into the Canadian territory for a day, and then it came back out on the 31st, and we've been dealing with it ever since. Or we're not dealing with it, just watching it. So, Trump said take it down a long time ago. And there were areas over Montana so sparsely populated, and they dropped that thing like a brick. I mean, they knew how to, as the guy, the military guy they had on Fox said, they used a proximity detonation device when something gets in close proximity to an object that causes detonation, and shredded the daggone thing and fell straight down. You know, they could have done that in very open areas in Montana, plus many of the areas that went through prior to even getting to Montana, and we certainly could have took it out without worrying about anybody getting hurt up in Alaska. So, which is when it should have been done. And B-Dog says Aleutians, Alaska, Alberta, then Montana. Yeah. So, hi, Kathy. Yes, please hit the thumbs up, folks. So, anyway, let me see. So, I heard a little bit about maybe there being a dirty NUKE, but not much. Mostly what I heard was people looking at that balloon was thinking that it either contained something BIO, or it was spraying it. That was the concern. So to watch it and to find out it's been up there so much, and to see this debate and have Trump make his comments saying to put it down, get it out of the sky, and then waiting. The CHYNA put out a statement saying that we could not take any action. Where is that? If you that they're going to be mad or whatever if it's taken down, it's got to be not over U.S. soil. Okay, that's the verbiage. They said that we could not take it down until it left U.S. soil. And sure enough, they did exactly what China said. They waited till it got off U.S. soil, and Trump wouldn't have gave a darn. So that makes us look weak, and it makes people very concerned. I might have to do a picture show for y'all. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find that find the article. When they told us, here's that report from Jack Posobiec. Hearing a lot of people say their cell phones are acting weird in areas that it flew over, and that here it is. Biden said that a CHYNA spy platform vacuum up all military commercial and personal cell and Wi-Fi data. It wanted once it did, they took it out. If it's the same one that was in Billings, Montana. So I like I said, I haven't heard anybody tell me anything about Billings being a hoax. And I mean, I watched that video, I don't know how many times on the NPC show, and I watched him a little bit today, and I didn't hear him mention anything about Billings one being, I didn't watch it that long though. Posobiec says the spy platform was allowed to travel low and slow across the entire continental United States, including our nuclear arsenal, because the Biden administration didn't want to upset Xi before their upcoming audience with him. This is how a vassal state acts. A vassal state. So they had Blinken postpone his visit. Like anybody gives a rat's behind about that, supposedly as punishment. But I tell you what's really driving them nuts, among other things, that if they're doing it, like I said, if they're doing a distraction, well, they're still red pilling people big time. Big time. More red pills than 20 posts Trump could put out, pointing things out in plump and plain English. Average people don't pay any attention. But when they get smacked in the chops with the thought of some kind of BIO weapon above their heads, then they wake up. So they're getting red pilled by the millions with concern, okay? And they're going to start checking things out. But the next thing that they got is they don't have access to the intelligence they used to have, right? Did you notice on my thumbnail, I had the red pill, jet shooting red pills right at that balloon. And what did it say on there? On the balloon, I got Debbie agrees with me. Thank you, honey. Ha ha. Patriot Prepper Day. Howdy. How you doing? I had on the balloon on my thumbnail. I work hard on thumbnails. Y'all got to pay attention to them. Did anybody get what I had on my thumbnail? Because there's at least 2 dangerous people that no longer have access to intelligence in the House. Well, really 3. Ilhan Omar, Adam Schiff, and Gasbag, Eric Swalwell. Oh, Donna, I'm sorry to hear that, honey. You guys be careful. You guys be careful. We're sorry to hear that, Donna. We'll be thinking about you. We'll be thinking about you, both of you. So, that's tough to deal with. So, my thumbnail said, on the side, it said, Fang Fang. So we got, you're welcome, Donna. You guys be careful. That's the main thing. And we'll be keeping an eye out for you. You take your time. So pay attention to driving. Don't worry about us. Ha ha. So anyway, yes, Brain, you make it safe, Kathy says. Nikki says she's so sorry for you. My jet gets a balloon drawn on its side, B-Dog. It says on the balloon, it says Fang Fang. Hi, Stacy. Bubba says he's sending prayers. So, anyway, So we got those three in the House that they have no idea what's going on. And one of the main ones in the Senate that had a driver for 20 years, we all know she's 89 years old. And Adam Schiff is going to run for her seat. Used to be on the Intelligence Committee, used to be chairwoman of the Intelligence Committee. And who am I talking about? Kathy saw it. Ha ha. Oh, you mean okay, B-Dog, I got you. Anyway, that's Dianne Feinstein. She no longer has access to intelligence either. That's been removed from her a while back when Mr. T was president. So somebody else, I have to do a picture show one time because somebody put a video up of when Zelensky and Mr. T met. And you could see the panic in Zelensky's face. Trump said something to the effect, listen, I hope you and Russia, you guys need to get together and work things. This is when Trump was still president. And he said, you guys need to get together, work things out. I really want you guys to get together and work things out. And Zelensky looked like he just swallowed a clump of worms. I mean, he didn't know what to do. And back then, of course, we didn't pick up on little signs like that. But you could see Trump had this kind of little impish smile, little look on his face, because that was his way of letting Zelensky know that he knew what was up. As Joe Biden said, he had gotten sophisticated enough. Remember that from Joe Biden? We don't want to let him get sophisticated enough to know what's really going on. He said that to Poroshenko. You get your money pushed through the private bank before Trump gets sophisticated enough to realize what's going on. And he told Poroshenko to do that for your own personal well-being. In other words, that's how you threaten people, folks. So anyway, I tell you, it's awful what happened to that Republican, that young lady. I got to be careful what I say, but she became the victim. You're welcome, Don, and we'll think about you. That victim that you heard of, the politician who somebody targeted, right? You heard about that? And that's what I put in my thumbnail. I want to mention her. Let me see if I've got that article. You all still with me? I got dropped off there. I'm sorry. I got dropped off, folks. Anyway, it was 7 times, okay? Yeah, it was terrible. 7 times in the gosh, I hate to say it, but in the face. That is just out and out hate. That's the only thing. People were commenting, her close friends and law enforcement. They were saying it was anger or But they didn't use that word. I'm going to use it. That's HATE right there. So it's my own personal thoughts on the matter, but I can think of a group that has HAT in their hearts, okay? Especially for people of faith, especially for Christians. And as we learned from our friend down south, if you criticize them in any way, they make your life hell. So in other words, if you quote the Bible, discuss your personal beliefs, how you want to raise your children, they take that as an offense, okay? And they make your life hell. So it's just a matter of time before they set us up for those kinds of situations where they can call up and have you detained. Okay. Now I'll tell you another weird story that my friend Bernie on Truth and Art TV posted on his truth site. You know, as far as trusting, your physician, there's a story here about a lady who was in a continuing care home in Urbandale, wherever that is. They were fined $10,000 after declaring one of their residents DAD and transferring her to a funeral home where she was found to still be alive. This was in Iowa. So the article talks about how back in the day, they used to hang a bell beside the grave, and with a string actually going down in case somebody made a mistake, you could ring the bell. So let me see, new comments. So of course they don't do that practice anymore because we trust the science. You trust your doctor, right? Well, this continuing care home sent the lady off, and a report from the Iowa Department of Inspection and Appeals says the mistaken DEATH declaration occurred on January 3rd after a staff member at the Glen Oaks Alzheimer's Special Care Center reported that the woman, 66, had died at about 6 a.m. The report said the woman, who had early onset dementia, anxiety, and depression, had been in hospice care since December 28th. So how in the world did they pronounce her in that condition when she wasn't? Well, a staff member reported she could no longer feel the woman's pulse and alerted a nurse practitioner who made the DATH declaration. And Iowa law allows nurses and physicians assistants, in addition to doctors, to declare a patient DEAD. So, yeah, always get a second opinion if you can. I saw that about a half an hour before I went up, and I said, gee, I got to put that, I got to tell that story. And George Washington, he told his staff, you make sure I am cold. I'm no doubt before you do anything. So I got a few more things that Posobiec and Truth and Art TV put up, and yeah, it's like that Monty Python thing. Bring out your DAD, ding ding. Bernie put out, wow, did anyone see the big press conference with President Biden and his Space Force tackling the big balloon story? Neither did I. You would think this is a great opportunity for our, quote, president and, quote, commander in chief to show off his Space Force. It's all theater, folks. In other words, he didn't show off his Space Force. He didn't even mention Space Force. And I don't think Space Force wants him mentioning them. So we'll see who's really in control. Soon someone will come out with a balloon, blow up video game. Then people will realize we were played by this gimmicky story. So Bernie seems to think it's a big gimmick. A big gimmick, the whole thing. And that a lot of folks in the chats are saying it's a look here, not there situation. So anyway, folks, let me see what's going on in the chats. Oh, I know, Debbie. I tell you, I had friends and family over the years in nursing homes or what was that place called? Continuing care, and also home care come by. They'd come by the house, and sure enough, something be coming up missing. If they go in the nursing home and you bring them something, chances are it's going to get stolen. XRP says it was a distraction. Yes. And breaking the words up for me, keep me out of trouble. Thank you, XRP. XRP Chevy. Good to see you. So anyway, so he got into 46 feet of water. They said there's going to be a salvage ship showing up there in a couple of days. Now, Biden said he gave the order on Wednesday that it was agreed that it was going to they were going to wait till it was presumably over water because they didn't want any chance of anybody getting hurt. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. And today's Sunday, right? It was in Billings, Montana yesterday, Saturday. So Biden said he gave the order Wednesday. What in the heck? If he could go from Billings, Montana to North Carolina, 2/3 of the way across this country in one day, what was happening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What was going on? So that's another thing that makes you think, it had to be more than one. So, but the other thought I have is if they knew that was their strategy, and you by the tracking that you could do, which is pretty much a line, from Montana to North Carolina, you can see, well, that's the way it's going. You would have something within the vicinity that would take more than a couple of days to get there. And it's in salt water for a couple of days. The majority of that structure underneath that balloon were solar panels. The majority of the volume of the structure were those big solar panels. And then whatever dirt box or device you had, and cameras and antennas and transmitters, all that's going to hit the water and be down there it's already hit the water. It's going to be down there for a couple of days. Why? If they made the decision Wednesday, and then again, I'm saying that's 3 lost days. They knew about it since Wednesday. This came a big story yesterday. Wait a minute, I'm talking a day off. It's Saturday, so I'm sorry. I was thinking about tomorrow when they have dive teams out there and all that. So anyway, we're missing 2 days. It was today's Saturday, so you're looking at Wednesday. We knew about it Friday. We knew about it yesterday. So you got Wednesday and Thursday. They must have knew about it and up when it was in Canada or over Alaska. Let's see. Anyway, so it's all fishy. It's all weird. And you figure with the professional camera crews that were out there, the one in Billings, Montana, they got pictures that showed print and writing on the side. So with the cameras that they had out there from studios, news stations, they should have enough pictures where we could compare to what was captured in Billings to see if there was a hoax or not. So anyway, the majority of Americans think one balloon, okay? But then there's a possibility that somebody from the military decided to take care of it in Montana, and then they decided to put it on a show and get another one up there and say, okay, now we're going to disclose location. It's over, and we're going to go ahead and take it out when it gets over the ocean. And it happens on a weekend when everybody's watching TV and go, oh, and they get to watch the big show. That's always a possibility. So anyway, other than me missing days out of my week, let me see what everybody else is doing. So anyway, this business of the concern that most people had was not a NUCL, NUKE, okay? It was a BIO concern. That was just average people that reporters were talking to. And don't you know that Clandestine was putting out a bunch of stuff about finding the paperwork where Zelensky ordered information on a what is it called? Meta BIO labs, okay? That Hunter had stock in for all that stuff to be destroyed right after Zelensky, right after Putin, Pootin, invaded, okay? Then on top of that, you've got Clandestine. Let's see, what was one of the other big stories he put out? That the U.S. government is not interested in who engineered the illness that expired 6.84 million people. Not only are they not interested in finding out, they are actively censoring journalists and scientists who spoke out about it. Folks, the U.S. government is compromised. Then he puts a copy of a tweet up by a certain individual. I'll give you his name. Dr. Andrew G. Huff says the Russian Federation has requested my assistance with investigating the BIO labs in Ukraine. I have respectfully declined. So they're not getting any assistance, but as I said, both CHYNA and the Bears are looking for answers and publicly declaring that the United States is behind it, financing it, and also the main contributor to the war in UKR. And then when I put up a picture show, I'm going to show this video. It got reposted by Bernie on Truth and RTV. It is a video where the Russian military put out an explosive Russian elite military U.S. recruitment video. And it quotes, "If you are a patriot of the future great America, join the ranks of the warriors of Russia. Help defeat evil, or it will be too late for everyone." That is in a recruitment video from the Russian Federation. If we want to support the new republic, the new American government, okay, the future great America, join the warriors of Russia. Help defeat evil, or it will be too late for everyone. I'll play that video. When I do a picture show, I'll get a copy of it. Because we got plenty of Americans going over to UKR, mercenaries. I've shown their passports. I've shown footage of the battles, the reports of them losing their lives, the reports of them being captured. And one thing I thought of last night, I was talking about Canada and how they had all those CHYNA troops up there, 100,000 of them, right? And how the Latin American countries are offering assistance to the Brazilian government that's trying to solidify its power. Well, I mentioned that situation Trudeau had lined up with 100,000 troops from another country right on our border was foiled. That training mission was foiled. What else happened? Well, a top general, and I did a video on it, and I didn't put two and two together. I did a video last year. One of the first big fish that got caught over in UKR, okay, was a Canadian general who was removed from office right around the time of this controversy of the winter training with CHYNA and Canada, just before the inauguration of the resident, okay? He got forced out. I think that had something to do with it, but he ended up in UKR leading a bunch of mercenaries, and he got caught in that factory, and he is now a prisoner of war, a high-ranking Canadian general. That happened at the same time, and that's how he ended up. If some of you early people that were watching my videos when I was first doing them on the first channel I had, I was showing the helicopter debris. I was showing the reports of how they were trying to get high-ranking big fish, they call them, out of that factory that was holding out on the Azov Sea. And they had at least 3, maybe 4 helicopters go in trying to rescue this high-value individual. And it turned out to be this Canadian general. They did not rescue him. They lost 4 choppers with the entire crew trying to get him out. And the Russians have him right now. High-value prisoner in Russia, probably facing war crimes trials. And that's going to be coming up. What was the name of that battle? Where they were in that factory? Mariupol. In Mariupol. And I have a video which was backed up to RUMBLE, okay, before they took my first channel down, that shows a picture of that general. And I read an article where he was dismissed from his post, and I believe it's right in line with when they tried to do those military exercises right around when Biden was going to be inaugurated, and right at the time when Biden had to bring his own personal security and staff to his own swearing in. Anyway, folks, I'm at an hour. I appreciate y'all spending your precious time with me. You all have a great evening. This is Mountain Man, over and out.